Kral space, Kral space. I'm Kim Kral. Kral space, Kral space. I'm invading your space. Kral space, Kral space. Kral space, Kral space. I'm Kim Kral.
Hey, it's the Kral Space. I'm Kim Kral. I am reporting to you not live from my closet. Hi guys. Hi. Oh man, bunch is going on. I'm much better than I was last week. My sponsor is sending me too old to be drunk memes now, which is so funny because she's like, you're fine. and I appreciate you guys letting me spin out last week over it. I don't even know if I really did or not, but yeah, I'm much better now. My fucking critical parent came out big time. And if you don't know what that means, the voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, that why are you even bothering? You suck, whatever shitty tapes you have from, trauma. There's like we all have those tapes and the goal is to rewire them. And, we talked today and she was just like, well, look how different and how quickly you processed that day. I'm like, oh my God, if this was pre-recovery, I would have, and for those of you who didn't listen to last week's, I just got super fucked up, got super drunk on football Sunday, the first football Sunday. And I just don't really do that much and I don't like doing that much. And I forgot that I don't really drink anymore. And also my body is way different now after I had COVID and my body doesn't process things the way it did. So I got really, really drunk and then I was really ashamed and she is like, what? But yeah, I was like, oh God, if I would have done that 2 years ago, I would have so when I first started ACA, there was a girl that came in there and she said that she, was an AA and she was like, yeah, I was told I had an alcohol problem because every time I got drunk, I would cry, scream, yell, act out, do all this like terrible behavior. So people were like, well, you're an alcoholic. You need to go to AA. So she's like, oh, I went to AA and, this isn't even what I wanted to talk about today, but we'll get to it. But she went to AA and then, quit drinking. And she was like, and she was sharing in a meeting, in an ACA meeting. And she was like, and it wasn't really hard to quit drinking. It was like, all right, well, I guess I just don't drink it. Like, it wasn't like the way it is when you're in AA and you need all the support in the world. Otherwise you will go back and drink. If you know alcoholics or addicts, how that struggle. And she's like, it wasn't at all. And then I healed here in ACA and I realized that the reason why my coping mechanism, and now if I get drunk, I don't do any of those things. And that's sort of how I'm like, wow, yeah, years ago before I worked through my trauma and my anger and all my bullshit, I would get drunk and I would be a wreck. I'd be an asshole. I cried, make a scene. I do all that. Now I guess I just get silly and have fun because I've worked through my trauma. Still probably won't be going out getting hammered again anytime soon. My body, I took till Friday to recuperate. I had a couple drinks on Friday night and Saturday night with some friends and, Friday night with a friend and then Saturday night I returned to the Korean nightclub for a night and it was really fun. And so I did some shots with, the coworkers and whatever, but it wasn't anywhere near the previous Sunday. It was a couple shots and it was fine. And so that's the thing. I was just but it took me how I drank last Sunday, it took me till Friday to even kind of feel better. And it was just, my body's just different. And how a good friend of mine pointed out that now I'm learning how to drink with a brand new body. It's not the one I've been in for the last 38 years. Well, now I'm 39, but 30, I got COVID, I was 38. Now it's a brand new one. So I'm learning all my boundaries and limits. But my sponsor is sending me memes about people not being able to drink the way they did in their 20s. And then also it's becoming more and more concerning. I'm not going to describe it to you or show it to you because it's really gross, but I have a scab on my leg. And I don't know if it started as a bug bite that I cut while shaving or if I cut it while shaving and then it just but now it's grown into this weird scab and it's just getting blacker and bigger and I'm like, I don't think that's good. And I'm cleaning it and I'm bandaging it, but I'm also giving it air. I'm doing all the first aid shit you're supposed to do. And it's just, it's just getting gnarlier and gnarlier. And I'm like, oh man. And like, it's like the size of what's the one that's worth 5 cents? Nickel or dime. I know a lot of you are going to DM me. My brain won't retain that information. Many people have told me the difference between a nickel and a dime my entire life. I know the bigger one is 5 cents and the smaller one is 10 cents, but I can never remember which is which. And then people will be like, that's a nickel. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that I can Google it. I understand that information, like it's readily available. My brain doesn't it does not compute. Oh man. So yeah, I feel night and day. I am going to Denver in a month, a little less than a month, and I'm actually excited about it. I'm actually, not to be like I'm actually excited about it, but going back to Denver is a very different experience for me than it is for a lot of people. My little cousin, who is like my little sister, I shared about this a couple episodes ago, and she was just like, I don't push you coming here because I know that this place, it means a lot different things than it does to the rest of us. Like, yeah, there's a lot of demons there, a lot of all of my trauma took place there, and I haven't returned in a long time, and I'm pretty excited about going back. I talked to my cousin, who's like my little cousin, Adrienne. She's like, or she is my little, but she's like my little sister. I talked to her the other day for a long time, and I forgot. Like, if you're a comedian, or when you do something in your life, I only can equate to my experience, but as a comedian, I forgot that she is my absolute favorite person to make laugh. And I think she was probably one of the first few people that, the first person I made laugh when I was a little girl. Like, I don't know, just having her, like hearing her laugh at stupid shit I say brings so much joy to my life. And I was like explaining to her, I'm like, dude, I think if you didn't think I was funny, I don't think I would be where I'm at right now with comedy and, all that stuff. Like, you were one of the first people that was like, bitch is funny. She didn't say it because she was like 5, but, yeah, and so she's taking me to a Denver Bronco game, the Bronco Raiders game. That's going to be a scary game. I think the Raiders are 2-0 as well. The Broncos are 2-0. It's good. It's a nice time. And the last couple of years, we haven't been able to say that the first couple of weeks. It's been like, well, maybe we'll get one win next week. So it's really exciting. But yeah, I'm going to be going to a Bronco game in Denver, and I'm going to be seeing a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time. I'm excited. My other cousin just had a kid. This is such a cool, my other cousin just had a baby, right? And we're on this big group chat. And I have an Aunt Debbie who lives in Montana, and Aunt Debbie is just one of those, just a fucking delight. You know what I mean? Like, just one of those humans that you're just like, man, the world is just a better place that you rolled through it. You know what I mean? Like, she's just a cool lady. She taught deaf and blind kids as her career. And then I believe she moved on to being like the principal or some shit of like a big deaf blind school. But yeah, when she talks to you, she also signs, because she's, spent 40 years signing while talking to students. So she like also signs sign language. And if you're a Patreon subscriber, if you want to be a Patreon subscriber, the first tier is Kralsome. You are like Kral and awesome. My Aunt Debbie came up with that, and that's what she calls us. She's like, oh, it's just Kralsome. And she also is, and I don't know if she knows this, and I feel like I need to tell her, because, the older you get, I guess. I don't know if it's the older you get, but for me, it's the older I get. And I know the world's a little fucked up right now, so it also might just be like, the world's kind of fucked up right now. So everyone's, it makes you think a little bit more about the people you love and the people that are close to you, and saying the shit that you want to say before it's too late. And I've always been pretty good at that. I've lost a lot of people in my life, so I've learned that lesson many, many, many times. Tell your people you love them, man. But I don't know if I've ever told my Aunt Debbie this, but she's the reason I went back and said goodbye to my father, and that we had those last few days before he died. She's the real, like, everyone in my family was calling, and some were like, do whatever you want, and some were really awful about it. Some were like, how dare you do this to your dad? Like, some were really fucked up and mean about it. And, it's been years, and it's fine, and all the amends are made, and everything's cool, and I don't harbor any resentment, but it didn't make me want to go back to say goodbye to my dad. You know what it was just like forgive my dad and make the amends before he died. It didn't like the anger and harsh words, and maybe take this as you will, like my old boss, Mikey, New York guy. He and I used to yell at each other all the time, but we loved each other a lot. I mean, I love that guy. That guy's like family to me, but we would like yell, like scream in the bar, and people would be like, are you guys in a fight? It's like, no, we're just talking. We just yell. That's how we yell. But he used to always yell. What would he yell at me? You catch more bees with honey, Kral. You catch more bees with honey. But it's so true, because my family was like calling and leaving these threatening messages. Not threatening like we're going to come kill you, but like threatening like, fucking, like you're going to regret this. Like this is like, how dare you be such a terrible person? Like, I mean, just like not great words, but, and some were just like, I don't want to overstep, I mean, there was a mixed bag, but my Aunt Debbie called, and she was just so kind about it. And it was just like, hey, I don't know what happened. I respect you. I love you. Your dad's going to die. And I just really think you ought to think about, what that means moving after he does. I can't, it's so funny. I don't even remember I just remember her being kind, and it wasn't coming at me. You know what I mean? It wasn't like telling you what to do and then telling you you're a bad person if you don't do exactly what I think you should do. It was just like, here are the facts. This is what I think, and I love you no matter what you do. And she's the reason, like, I am a very different human being than I would have been had I not gone back to say goodbye to my dad. No doubt in my mind. I don't know where I'd be, but I don't think I'd be as light and happy as I am. I think it would have been a lot harder to put myself back together after he died. Because, you can't. And there was also a guy, I was in Al-Anon. There's a guy in Al-Anon. I asked him about it, and he was like, you can't have an argument with a gravestone 10 years from now. So, take that with you will. And I don't know. So my Aunt Debbie said this thing the other day. So my one cousin just had a baby, and we're in this group chat, and, he was like, oh, I had a baby, and here's the baby's name, and, how much the baby weighs. Why do we all want to know how much a baby weighs? I just thought of that, but really, like, why is that a thing we all want to know about? Like, well, how much does the baby weigh? Is that, I've never thought about that before, but it's just a really bizarre piece of information that people need to know, and people feel the need to tell their people that the baby weighs 8 pounds. That's really funny. I've never thought about that before. But so she sends it out, and my Aunt Debbie sends this, like, we're all like, oh, congratulations. Oh, he's pretty or beautiful. Oh, we can't wait to meet him. Blah, 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 blah. Like whatever the bullshit you say when someone has a baby. And my Aunt Debbie writes back, oh, welcome to the kid's name is Aiden, I believe. And it's like, welcome to the world, Aiden. Welcome here. God, you're going to have so much fun. You're going to have so much fun here. I think we forget. I think we forget that, like, I mean, and this is my spiritual belief, that we're like spiritual beings having a human experience. And I think we get so caught up in the, like, I got to pay my bills, my credit cards, my taxes, my fucking, job, this, that. And it's just like, you're going to have so much fun here. I can't wait. You're just going to have so much fun. And I don't know. You're going to have so much fun here. I love that. She's a cool broad. I've been doing this thing. I can't tell you much about it. I think I signed an NDA. I'm pretty positive I did. But I've been doing this game show. I've been doing audience work for this game show off and on for the last month or so. And it's really cool. But I was saying, like, the other, like, and it's so funny because people who know me know that, like, I don't enjoy things like that. Like, I don't want to talk to everybody. I don't like small talk. I don't like that kind of stuff. And like, I love this. It's hosted by Jay Leno. So that it's coming out soon. I think I can tell you that much because there's like previews and shit everywhere. But I didn't have an opinion about Jay Leno. I think I've already told you guys this, so I probably already breached if I already had. But I didn't have an opinion about this guy either way. Like, I didn't grow up watching late night TV. I didn't grow up wanting to be a comedian. I knew obviously who Jay Leno was, but I didn't, have I've lived here in LA for a long time where you could go watch his show taping for free when he was on the Tonight Show. And so I didn't have, and then my aunt's sister is was so not my other aunt, but she's kind of like an aunt because I did grow up with her, but she worked on the Tonight Show, or her friend did, or some shit. I don't know, but like I've never had an opinion of Jay Leno either way. I don't like him. I did not like him. You know, there was just no. It was just no. There's that guy. I love Jay Leno now, and I know that's not popular because a lot of people are talking about. I guess like people are mad what he did to like Conan with the Tonight Show, but upon further research, like Conan wasn't getting any good ratings, and it's all business. I don't know. So Jay Leno will come in between the shows because there's like 6 tapings a day or something, and in between tapings he'll come to the audience and he'll just like talk about the industry and answer questions about his life, and he's just like a cool fucking dude, and the shit he says about the industry and just how he just like the advice he gives, it's just so it's so like he's just like, you know, work. Like he's like, when he got the Tonight Show, he was like, there was a roster of a bunch of comedians that they were all taking turns hosting, and each one had like a writer and how much they wanted to make. And it was like, we're going to make $10,000, you know, this guy needs to make $10,000 a night if you're going to give it to him. And one of the reasons Jay got it is he didn't ask for much money. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I wasn't anybody big. I was just a fucking comedian. And I was hosting the Tonight Show when it was like when they were alternating, I guess. And he was like, I was making like scale, you know, he was like, it's like $512 or some shit back then. And he's like, I was making $500 each show before they selected me. But then the guy, they picked him because he was the one that wasn't like, I demand all these things. They picked him. And he's like, I'm not the smartest guy, the funniest guy in the room or whatever. But he's like, I'm easy to work with. And he goes, I always just look at these guys and I'm like, what have you ever done on a Tuesday that is worth $10,000? Like, and it's just such an interesting perspective, because it is also then I constantly am going back and forth between knowing your worth and also saying yes to jobs. You know, like I had an audition on Saturday and it was so ridiculous. I read this, Leslie Kahn is a casting director, teacher. Yeah, I think she's all that stuff. She's prominent in the LA scene, and she posted this long thing about what casting directors are asking of us actors now that we film everything online and we send it to them. Dude, they ask for like, sometimes you're like, did you just want me to film the whole commercial for you? Like they're like, all right, make sure you're walking into the room, but have it like a pan from your head to your toe and then 5 scenes. And like, it's like, what? Before you would just walk into the casting office, they'd look at your hands, you'd tell them something about yourself, and then or read something on an easel and you'd leave. And now it's just this insane thing, right? And what was the point of all that? Jay Leno. Oh, so this audition I had on Saturday, it was like audition will be it was like a 4-page description too, which was ridiculous. It was like an in-person audition, and they're like, you can bring as many people as you want if you want. Each audition will take an hour to an hour and a half. And if you get picked, then you'll have to stay an extra half hour, and then we'll pay you $50. So you'll either come, and it was for like a headshot shoot or something. I actually fully don't remember what it was about, but it was some guy taking your pictures. But it was like, so you'll come for an hour and a half and not get paid, but then you might make $50, but that's 2 hours of your day. And that's 2 hours of your day if they're on time, and they are never on time. You'll show up and it'll be like, well, you'll have to be like, it's so crazy. And so I get what Jay Leno's saying, where it's like, no, you're like, definitely don't. I mean, what are you doing on it? Like, you know, work, get the jobs. Like if you're good at it, the money will come, period. That's what he said. He goes, you're talented, the money will come. But then also knowing your worth and being like, I'm not desperate enough for $50 to sit around on a Saturday and like, and whatever it was, and I just didn't. It's just such an interesting, I don't know. But the other thing that I really like about it, and the girl that is the girl who's like the main audience wrangler or whatever, she's like a PA. We've got to know each other because I love this. I do this a lot. Like any chance they'll book me and I'm not busy that day or working that day, I'll just go do it because it's easy money. It's not much money, but they feed you and you get to watch. And I'm not even a game show fan. I enjoy it so much. And then I get an hour off and I read for that hour, and then we get to eat some nice like vegan lunch or what. I just usually do the vegan thing, but and then you get to watch, you know, it's just a cool day. It's almost done, and I'm kind of bummed about it. But I was talking to her, and I was like, dude, I love this. And she's like, really? And I'm like, and I was like, it just reminds me. Okay, so go on a ride with me. Go on a little ride with me. It reminds me of humans. Like, it's like, so I've watched probably like 100 people in the time I've gone to watch this, right? Like 100 different groups of people, right? 100 individuals in groups. And for the most part, like, I'm going to say out of the 100, 97 of them, 98 of them have been awesome, cool individuals, like people that you're just like, man, like what a cool life. Oh man. And to every ethnicity, every, you know, like sexual orientation, gender, everything has been through this that I've seen on the stage. And it's just like such cool stories, like lifelong military people who are stay-at-home moms, some bitch was some mermaid or whatever. Like, it was just like the color of like the different rainbow of humans that have rolled through on this stage have been just so cool to listen to their story. And they all just seem like, and you can feel it. And I don't know. I was talking to my sponsor about this today. People are like, I am an empath. No, empath. You're supposed to have empathy. You fucking psychos. People who are bragging about having empathy, but people who are able to read the energy of a room that's not empathic. That typically means you had trauma as a child. You had to read. I had trauma as a kid, and I had to learn. I know how to read a room and people, like, and it's not. And I developed that as a child because it was a survival mechanism. It's how we survived. I walked into a room and I could tell you, like, okay, this isn't, I just sit quietly, don't move. This is a place I got to learn how to talk my way out of. Better be charming, better be scary, better be sad. Like, I'm able to do that. So I'm able to read people really well. I'm not, the people are like, that means you're an empath. No, it doesn't. I do have empathy and I am empathic, but that's just a cool side effect of having a lot of trauma as a child, is that now I can read a room like no other, right? And most people I know that are really good at reading energies had really bad childhoods. And it's just a survival tool, man. And now it's something cool I get to use on stage or watching. So I'm watching, like, so 98 of these people you can just tell they're just good humans. And there's been 2 that have been awful. One was, and I think that's where the NDA comes in. I can't really talk about that, but like awful people, like saying hateful things and like knowing that they're going to have to edit this shit out. But the thing is every time we go back, we talk about those 2 awful people. And it's like, because the awful people are usually the loudest. They're the ones who are like beating the drums, screaming, you know, all this stuff. And those are the ones we remember. But as a whole, humans, I don't know, humans might not be that bad. The bad ones are really bad and they're loud about it. So we like remember them the most. But I don't know, my buddy Whitney and I were walking. We go on walks, you know, a couple times a week or whatever around my neighborhood. And we were walking a couple of weeks ago and this guy had this, you know, this awesome big golden retriever. And then in his front, he had a bag, like an open sack that was on his chest that had 2 cats sticking their heads out, right? And we were like, he was in the middle of the street when we ran into him, right, where we went out to pet his animals, but it's like a neighborhood street, so it's not like there was a lot of cars. There was no cars, and so we went out there and we're like, "Can we pet your animals?" And he was like, "Of course." And we had this wonderful moment with this guy, his cats and his dog, and we talked to him for a little bit, and then we looked up and this car was waiting for us, and the guy in the car was like smiling because he saw how happy all of us were to just be like saying hi and petting an animal. And this guy had a moment, we all had a moment, and it was just like, and Whitney and I walked away and we're like, yeah, you know what, humanity, we might be okay. The really shitty ones, man, they're really shitty. Don't get me wrong. You guys know I will stand on my soapbox all day long, but this last week I've just been reminded of just like, you know, just how humans are, for the most part, people are trying to do the best they can. And you know, some people who are really shitty, they I don't think they know they're really shitty. I know a few people, you know, that were in my life before all this that are no longer really in my life now, just because, you know, well, honestly, the healthier I've gotten, the more toxic people just sort of fuck off on their own, which has been a massive blessing and really cool. A little painful. Someone I was really close to, and then she turned out to be a crazy person. She turned out to be not a healthy human. Sorry, Cersei, for whispering the crazy thing, but just not a healthy person. Just a lot of shit, you know, that I can't have in my ether. She unfriended me on everything this week, and that still kind of stings. But it is like, I know that she's also a person who needs drama, like she reached out to me and I guess I didn't respond exactly the way she needed me to or wanted me to, which is such a narcissistic thing. You didn't say exactly what you're supposed to. I'm going to do this. And then she never responded and just unfriended me on everything. And it's just like, I just don't have space for that. I just don't have space for that. But I don't believe she's a bad human. I think she's a sick human. I think she's got shit she's got to work through. But I think, and then another old friend who's no longer a friend of mine, is making some choices that are just really cringy and hard to watch. I don't believe that. I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago about the whole kind thing, being kind. I don't believe these two women are bad people. I don't think they even, I think most people think that they're doing the right thing or saying the right thing. And I think we just got to figure out a way to get on the other side of the table and talk to people. And it's hard to say that because there are like not the extremes, but, the bad people, the racist, the sexist, the anti-women people, those people, it's like, but it's so hairy and not black and white. And I think I've been making a black and white situation out of not a black and white situation. Obviously, racism, black and white, sexism, black and white, women, right, black and white, all, transphobia, black and white. I get that. I'm not saying that's not black and white. I'm just saying, I don't know. There's just got to be a better way for us to come together. Or, you know what? As a country, I feel like we should just, split up, man. It's like the parents that should not be together, but like they're just like fighting so hard to be together, and it's like, break up. No one on either side wants to be apart. I don't know, but yeah, I feel a little bit more hopeful lately. Terrified about what's next in my life. I'm doing the whole freelance thing and just trying to get jobs wherever I can. My DMs, my emails, everything's a mess. Like I've just been swamped, man. So if you've written me emails on DMs and I haven't gotten back to you, please know that it's not on purpose. Every day I'm like, okay, today's the day for the DMs. And then I wake up and there's like 14 other things I got to do. And you know what? These aren't real problems. This is all really exciting. I got some fun, exciting news coming up. I'm not going to share it yet, but end of October, there's some cool stuff that is on the horizon. Hopefully more stuff. I just signed a chunk of books and I sent them out. I believe I'm all caught up now. But the books are about to sell out again. So if you want a book, get it now. If you want to sign a book, get it now because I'm ordering new ones, but it'll take like 3 weeks for the new ones to come. So I'm almost sold out. Most of you know I bought a book. Buy my book. Most of you know I wrote a book, Confessions of a Recovering Party Girl. If you want a signed copy, I'm almost sold out of those, but I will be getting some new soon. And if you did buy a signed copy, it's on its way. Thank you for your patience. They were like, oh, we lost the batch. And then it was like, oh, never mind. It's going to be here today at 8. And I was like, sweet, never mind. We lost the batch. Oh, it's here. It was a whole nightmare. And then I called Amazon and they're like, well, we'll give you $8 because they charging me for shipping, getting it here. And I'm like, what? And they're like, and we'll just give you that. And it's just wild. It's wild. None of these are real problems, though. Everything, God, I love that. I just keep thinking of my Aunt Debbie and just like, you're going to have so much fun here. You're going to have so much fun here. I know it's hard. God, this thing is hard, life. Believe me, I know, dude. So I know, if you're new to listening to me and you're like, what? This bitch, it's so much fun here. But I don't know. It really is. Everything tends to work out. I do have some friends that are going through some stuff, and that's rough. And one of my friends who's going through a thing, it's just interesting. I have two friends going through some pretty hectic, hard life shit, right? And I'm not going to say what their stuff is, but the hard, stressful, usual suspects of going through hard life stuff. And it's just so interesting. Both of them are coming at it in a very different way. One was like, well, this is just how my life is. I guess I'm just going to quit doing everything. I'm going to stay in. I'm just going to isolate. And you know what? I'm not going to do it. Don't give me any of your advice on any way to change because I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to hopefully wait it out and it gets better. Hasn't gotten better. Everything I'm doing isn't making it better, but I would rather sit in my inner drugstore shit. Like people, when we do that, we get payoffs from it, right? Like we get a payoff for feeling down and fucked up. And if you are like, no, we don't, dig a little deeper, man. Dig a little deeper. You do. Otherwise you wouldn't keep doing it. And so he's like doing that where he's just like, and I'm not going to try anything new to change my life. I'm just going to I'm going to keep doing the same thing I've been doing, even though it obviously hasn't been working, but I refuse to try anything new and don't give me any advice on anything new. And I'm like, all right, buddy, I don't answer questions I'm not asked. I've already told you guys that. That's one of the best advices I've ever gotten in my life. Don't answer questions you're not asked. Like, oh no, I just pulled a muscle of some kind. Oh man. Okay. It's fine. It was like, when you feel whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm just happy I haven't unplugged my entire computer while I'm doing this. So I have one friend who's tackling all of his life shit that way, where he's just like, well, it's just the way it is. And I'm just going to hunker down and not change or, and I'm just going to do all this. And I'm like, okay. And then I have another friend who is going through, I would say similar, but like equally as rough shit, right? And she's like, all right, well, I allowed myself to be a little bummed out about it for a little bit. And now I'm just going to take action and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to remain positive. And it's just so inspiring. It's so inspiring because it's like, that's part of it, man. Life is a little tough sometimes, but you could have so much fun here. Like I don't know if I've shared my spiritual beliefs, but I think that we just, I think I probably have, but I'm not, it's similar to what Jim Carrey believes, which makes me feel like a fucking lunatic. Cause even though he's interesting and I love everything he says, he does seem like a crazy person now, but I agree with him. I think that we are, I think we're here to have a human experience. Like when we're talking about, what we do with our bodies when they die, and what like the different religions and cultures, and it's just like, I don't know, like that's one thing that I really appreciated about my dad. When he died, God, am I all over the place today? I don't know. I'm in a really good mood. It's also only Monday, man, and I just another manic. So if you're on Patreon, thank you for supporting me in that way. If you're not and you'd like to, you can go to kimkral.com and go to the Patreon page. You can listen to this early. I'm trying to get them out early so the people who are on Patreon can get the episodes early. And if you are on Patreon, check your emails or your spam. I sent you out a letter to get your addresses and stuff because I'm going to send you some shit. And if you don't want me to send you some shit, well, then you can just ignore it, I guess. But yeah, so I feel like I'm all over the place. What was I talking about? What was another manic Monday? Yeah, I'm in a good mood. I got a lot going on. I'm a little stressed out. My leg is progressively getting blacker and bloodier, which is a little concerning, but I'm sure it'll be fine. But I believe that we're human, like we're spiritual beings that are having a human experience. I also think we come here a bunch, and I think we come here a bunch until we learn whatever we're supposed to learn as a soul, and then we move on. My dad. So my dad, which is odd. I know everything you guys know about my dad, but we're not. I actually feel closer to my dad than I did when he was alive, because I think when he was down here, he was a human and he was all pinched off and he was a really sick human, man. So I don't have any, it's odd. It's odd when people hear that too, especially after they know, when they know what my dad did to me, but I just don't feel that way about him. I think that guy had a lot of trauma, man, a lot of trauma. I don't know from where, from what, I don't know what, but I know that you don't do that to a little kid and not have some kind of demon. You know what I mean? But he had a cool death. Hear me out, because that's a weird sentence. But he had a cool death. He had a death where it was I think I've told this before, but I told it a long time ago. And I know some people pop in and out and don't listen. And these episodes aren't in chronological order, really. But he when he died, he was like, I don't I was like, he's like, I don't need a funeral, whatever you want to do. But he's like, I'm not a religious guy, and I believe in a God, but I'm not religious, and I think it's fake to have my friends and family show up and listen to a bunch of shit that I never believed in. So, he was like, have a party, don't have a party, whatever you're gonna do to mourn this, do that, but I don't really want like a traditional funeral. And then he donated his body to a university in Nebraska, which I think was Creighton University, which is so awesome because that's my papa's name. It's just fun for me. But he donated it to, a university because he was like, I have all the cancer. So, I have a bunch of shit wrong with my body. So if they can cut this thing up and figure out how to help other people, why not do that? Because he was like, I'm not like, I believe that. Like, he's like, I'm not my body. I'm going to leave. And this thing is, my body's going to die. And that's going to be that. And so why not? And then he was like, I was like, no headstone. And he goes, why? What do we need all that for? And it's interesting because it is like, and I get it. I know there's different, religious beliefs and cultural beliefs, but it's just, oh God, I've been really thinking about all this a lot lately. Maybe that means I'm near the end. Just kidding. What if I got all dark and weird all of a sudden? Yeah, God. But I love that. You're going to have so much fun here. And I think when we first start out, even when I was a kid, I had fun. Even though, there was a whole thing going on at my house. The Kim Kral house was always a little scary with my mom and dad. But whatever monstrosity my mom was getting herself into at the time. But you're going to have a lot of fun here. And I think... And I know that that's easy for me to say. I know I have my problems, and I know I have had, a tougher time than the average bear, but I haven't had as, the average bear in my group of people, right? Like there's people around the world that have suffered way more, right? It's like apples and it's not even comparable. But so it's easy for me to be like, oh, we're going to have a lot of fun here. But it's just, I don't know. I've been really looking into the whole Eastern philosophy. This is around the part of the podcast where I start to like have the existential crisis that this isn't interesting and I sound like a cuckoo banana person. But I don't know. I just love that. You're going to have a lot of fun here. And I think that's going to be the title of this whole thing. Let's see here. Guys, I wanted to talk about this, but I've been so introspective and spiritual talking this episode that I feel weird about talking. But first of all, I would like to something very exciting this week. And I think we're going to do it right now because I've been very excited as soon as I saw it, and I've been holding off on it, and also like borderline why I'm recording this earlier than I normally do because I really, really wanted to read this. Roger sent in a poop scoop. Now, for those of you who have new to the show are popping in and out, I have a segment called The Poop Scoop, which I was informed by a friend this weekend that she couldn't listen to my podcast because she listened to one, and I guess I got real gory about pooping, and she's like, I'm not into that. And I was like, oh, it's only part of it. The rest of it, I talk about, my trauma. But this is so pause or, plug your ears for like 5 minutes if you don't want to hear about the poop. But if you do, Roger sends in, this is now, I think his 7th poop scoop. He writes them out, and they're always really, really, really good. And I've been really excited. And so I read them live. I don't read them before I get on here because I want to have my real-time reaction. But if you, so we all can read it together. So know that I can't read very well. It's fine. Reading out loud is hard for everybody, right? Fuck off. But if you want to send me one of your poop scoops, and send multiple. If you've already, I know a few of you have sent some and you are like, should I send more? Yes, send all the poop scoops. I only use Roger's name because he said that he's cool with me using his name. If you don't want me to use your name, just say don't use my name. Or if you don't specify in the email, I won't use your name. Out of caution. Send it to kimcrawlspace@gmail.com, KYMKRALSPACE@gmail.com, or even just send me a hello or whatever. Here it is. And he even names them. He titles his poop scoops. I love this. This is Roger. Roger is one of my favorite human beings that has ever walked the face of this earth. He's a fucking gem. A fucking gem, baby. All right. Oh, I just want to make sure I was still recording. Okay. Here we go. He named it this week. Oh God, this makes me scared though. It's called Two Scoops, One Girl. Cause like two girls, one cup. Don't ever watch that. If you've watched it, don't watch it. Or if you haven't watched it, don't watch it. I avoided watching it for like 8 years. And then one day I was like, all right, enough people have referenced this. Don't do it. Don't. You know how I feel? Oh, hi. You know how I feel? That's to Henry, who just entered the room, who's having a checkup on, I just bit my tongue again, who's having a checkup on Monday, a week from today. So send positive vibes to my booty bear. He seems to be doing fine. He's eating. He's sleeping. I mean, that's pretty much all he does. But yeah, I love that animal so much, guys. Okay, so 2 scoops, 1 girl. My last poop scoop was about a plumbing issue at my ex-girlfriend's apartment. This one happened about 2 years later with the same gal. In 2006, my girlfriend and I went to a family reunion. It was in Jamaica, and we flew from LA with a stopover in Miami, so it was around 7 hours of traveling. Now, I hate using public restrooms and usually try to plan long trips accordingly. That means no eating for 5 hours before a flight, no snacks while waiting to board a flight, and certainly no meals on the flight. But poop doesn't always follow the rules, which is why Kim has a segment dedicated to poop and its lack of obedience. You don't eat first of all, I love pooping in public restrooms. I love it. That's where I pooped the majority of college, is in public restrooms, because you could just poop and leave and no one knows it's you. But I digress. All right. So on the last leg of the flight, about 20 minutes from landing, I felt my tummy rumbling. And while I contemplated whether or not to go to the airplane shitter, I heard the flight attendant say, "The fasten seatbelt lights are now on. Please remain seated." Oh my God, I'm so excited right now. It caused an immediate bodily reaction. As soon as I knew that shitting was off the table, I had to shit more. It felt like the first lock on my internal Panama Canal was released. Oh my God, or should I say Panama anal. Nope, that one is better on paper. Sounds weird out loud. It does kind of sound weird out loud, but on paper it looks great. Write out Panama anal and it does look great. But because it's Panama Canal and it's spelled Panama Anal without the C. Okay. It took me a minute to get that. Okay. Anyway, my sphincter managed to hold back the invading forces, yelling at itself, "Hold the door, hold the door, odor." For those of you, I don't understand what that means. Oh, okay. For those of you who haven't seen Game of Thrones, imagine a very strong bearded man inside my butthole holding the flap shut while a flood of human fudge tries to get through. That's the imagery I was going through. Maybe this is why my friend was like, I can't listen to it, because we talk about this for like 10 minutes in there, whatever. I love this. Anyway, once we landed, my girlfriend got into the customs lines with our luggage, and I made a beeline for the airport bathroom. As you know, airport bathrooms are terrible no matter what city, but this was in Jamaica, where it was around 95 degrees. Ew, inside. But luckily for me, the bathroom had a fan, making it a cool and crisp 93 degrees. Oh, yay. What's better than a sweaty dump in a public bathroom? Nothing. It was a horrible experience, followed up with thin toilet paper that prisons would reject. But I got the job done and sheepishly made my way back to my waiting girlfriend. I say sheepishly because I'm always embarrassed when I have to poop around a girl. I know it's ridiculous as it's a natural bodily function, but I always think she'll never want to fuck me again if she knows that poop comes out of me sometimes. You know what's funny? That's how most women feel. That we've been told our whole lives we're not allowed to fart or poop or have any kind. We got to just like be pretty. We got to be really pretty. And if we don't, we're ashamed, right? So Roger, you understand. But I had done it and gotten away with it, or did I? You've probably figured out that it wasn't smooth. It wasn't that smooth of a mission, or it wouldn't be a bad poop scoop. Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, oh, you just pooped in a hot bathroom and you didn't poop your pants. I'm very excited to see what transpires next. I was cards on the table. I was sort of hoping that you would have shit your pants on the airplane. That was sort of where I was hoping things were going, but I guess we always don't get what we want. Okay, so I made my way through the crowded line, scooting between and around people, and found my girl. As I got to her, I immediately started talking about how hot it was to deflect the shame of my recent dump. Like, if I hadn't said anything, she would have said, so how is your shit, you disgustoid? But she agreed about the heat. Brilliant, right? And my embarrassment was somewhat avoided. That is, until 2 seconds later when she nonchalantly said, babe, you have some, and she pointed to my lower back. My eyes widened as I swung my back around like a dog with peanut butter on his tail, and I saw something. It was a tail. Oh my God, a white tail. A 20-inch ribbon of translucent toilet paper hanging from the back center of my jeans. I can't imagine how funny it was for the other passengers as I sauteed by them with the confidence of a man who did not have the toilet paper tail. Mortified, I pulled it out and walked to the trash can, avoiding all eye contact with all humans on the way. I went to the bathroom, and luckily it was just extra paper on the band of my boxers. It was not a piece of paper that was lodged in my pooper. So there wasn't any scat on the other end of the tail. Phew. I guess it was a random strip that I must have fell in just right away. Wow, I can't read sometimes. Just right way as I pulled my pants up. That happens. When I got back to my lady, I stared at my shoes and told her not to look at me for a while. She said it was not that big of a deal, rubbed my shoulder, and let me alone until my shame subsided. Damn, I really should have stayed with her. If only for her acceptance of my undiagnosed IBS. Yeah, why'd you break up with that broad, Roger? She seems like she sort of understood all of this bizarre shit. Because, like, I love that you're like that you have a plan, and I know you well, and that you have a plan so you don't poop and travel, that you're just like, I just will starve myself for 5 days. That is so good. Oh, I love you. If you have any poop scoop stories, anything like that, where you've pooped your pants, embarrassing poop stories, anything you have, I'm out of stories. Send me your poop scoop stories. Send them to me. I would love to hear them. And, send it to me why you're one lucky broad, because I'm going to tell you why I'm one lucky broad. Oh, guys, I thought I had so much to talk about, and now I'm just like, I'm just basking. And, it's just so funny. Let me say, last week I was in such shambles over like the shame of drinking too much on a Sunday. Like on the first football Sunday, and everyone was like, you were fine. We had fun. It's okay. Oh, you drank? You didn't blow up your life. You know what I mean? But it's just so funny how different I feel from last week to this week. And like, if you're struggling with something, and not just, I could use this for any time in my life that I thought like I was never going to be okay again afterwards. And, just keep swimming, man. Just keep fucking swimming. Because it will get better. Keep swimming. And I would also advise, you didn't ask for my advice, but I would also, I think this whole thing is my advice. I'd also advise, do what my one friend did, where she's like, oh, I'm going to, allow yourself to have the emotions, regroup, but then take action. You deserve to live. And not my other friend who's just like, I guess this is just it. And I'm not going to try anything new. And it's just like, man, that really bums me out. Like I'm close to finishing the 12 steps. And apparently I'm going to have some big spiritual awakening, which I'm very excited about because I feel like I've already had a few of them, but I think more is on their way. And I'm just really grateful that I found this and I am where I am because, here's your one lucky broad. I'm one lucky broad. I'm just really grateful that my old sponsor when I was in Al-Anon years ago, if when you're in those programs, they refer to the drinker in your life as your qualifier. So my parents are the reason why I qualify for the program of ACA, right? And my sponsor's in this old timey Al-Anon meeting, and she was like, she's like, what? At the end they allow you to ask questions or whatever, and she's like, what's a qualifier? And this old broad, this like old woman who had like years and 12 steps, she goes, oh honey, the qualifier is someone you're lucky enough to have in your life because it qualifies you for this program, because this shit works. And it's so wild. Like, people that aren't in the program are in any 12-step recovery, when I talk about the shit I learn in there, they think I'm a fucking scholar. They're like, oh my God, that's so smart. And I'm like, it's not mine. It's from this. But people have such like an aversion to going to 12-step. And look, the work I've done, I'm like reflecting now on all the work I've done in the last 2 years. I've been in ACA 3, but I really started doing really hard work in the last 2. And it hasn't been easy, but the alternative is much worse. The alternative of just like, this is just my life, I guess. And it's really painful, and I'm not going to do anything or change, and I'm just going to isolate. As opposed to, I say it all the time, turning around and facing your shit, because there was shit that like I genuinely thought I was going to have to carry on my own for the rest of my life. And I don't know. I've been talking to a lot of people lately. Just random people have been coming in and out of my life. I mean, literally random people I don't even know their names. Just like I just get to talking to a stranger, whether if it's doing audience work or I'm bartending, where I'm waiting in line somewhere. I just start talking to these people, and I don't know if I have this like aura about me right now that's just like, I can help you. What's your problem? But like, people are telling me the shit they're going through lately, and it's all like the same theme of like just like feeling stuck and like sad and scared and massive loss and all that stuff. And I don't know, you can have a great time here. I love that so much. She's such a cool lady. It's just like you can, and it's it's not easy. I walk through fire to get this life that I have. I had to lose everything, I was talking to my cousin about that, about cutting my dad out, and how I was like, I know it cost me a lot, and I know it cost me relationships with some family members that I may never be able to really repair, and it cost me relationships with my godparents and their kids, like people I grew up with that, were like second parents to me. And because I, cut my dad out of my life, and they don't believe that my dad could have done any of the stuff that he did do, it was worth it, because I was talking to my cousin, who's like my little sister, and I was just like, I can't tell you why I know this or how it would have happened, but if I didn't cut that man out of my life, I would have died. There's no doubt in my mind. And my stepdad gave me these Al-Anon CDs years ago when I was in Al-Anon, which is super awesome. He gave me these this woman working the 12 steps, and she just goes through each of the steps or whatever, and it's just like, how she did it and what, blah, blah, blah. And which was really awesome. It was awesome that he gave it to me. It was awesome that we shared the 12 steps. But she said that she ran into a friend who she hadn't seen in the rooms in a long time. And she goes, what happened? You haven't been in the rooms in a long time. And the friend was like, oh, Jim died. Jim was her alcoholic husband. And she's like, oh, okay. And then the friend goes, and it's just not that bad. It's not that bad. And this woman that has the thing, she goes, for me, it was that bad. And I listened to that. And a lot of people, don't have to go through these things or have to go through therapy or have to because mine was that bad. I would have died. I would have died if I didn't face this stuff. I don't know how. There was a period of time where I was well on my way to doing it, whether if I was going to do it myself or if I, was going to drink myself to death or, just get myself into as many dangerous situations I possibly could have without, any care for my well-being, I would have died. And so when I say, when I love reading, you're going to have a great time here. And I sound, some people may hear that and be like, fuck off. You've never been through anything. Man, I have. And I walked through fire to get here. And I don't know, keep swimming, dude. A lot of people are having a hard time right now. A lot of people are. God, Jesus. I mean, like just now I just had like a flash of all the people in my ether in my life that are just struggling right now. But keep swimming. Keep fucking swimming. And I think that's the episode. I don't know if it was that funny this week. Roger added to it. If you want to send me some poop scoop, send me the poop scoop. Anytime you've pooped your pants, plugged a toilet, had an embarrassing story, had someone, anything, send me your poop scoops. KYMKRALSPACE. Or just say hi. Tell me why you're one lucky broad. If you want to support the show in a podcast, show, if you want to support the show in a monetary fashion, I have a Patreon. Now you get a couple of bonus episodes a week. You get a free, I am recording it. It's just very, very tedious. So it will come, I promise. You'll get a download of my audiobook, Confessions of a Recovering Party Girl, when it's ready. Each tier you get some fun little things. So if you're like, oh, I'd like to support Kral Space in some way, Patreon's a great way to do it. You can do it for $3 a month. I might even just do it like my buddy has just $1 and just like, hey, thanks for sending that, I don't know, whatever you guys think. And if you want to buy my book, you can get it on Amazon or you can get a signed copy at kimkral.com. Truly either one of them means the world to me. So whatever one you want to do, that is, that's a way that you can support me. And I think it's a pretty good book. Everyone that's read it is pretty blown away by how good it is, which is nice, but also like, why are you so blown away? Just kidding. I think that's the show, everybody. I hope you are staying safe. Be kind. Just be kind. And if you're going through it, man, just know I'm holding space for you in my heart. I know it's a rough time right now. I know we're all trying to figure out our bearings, especially now that seems like the world's coming back and we're expected to just sort of, it feels like we're just expected to accept that we'll always have to get COVID tests, wear masks, and lots of people are going to die from this. Meanwhile, the hospitals are overran. It seems like, so I know a lot of emotions are running high and everything's really scary right now. So just, be nice to yourself. Be fucking nice to yourself. You're doing the best you can. And keep swimming. That's it. You're all wonderful. Thank you for listening to me, supporting me. It means the world. Have a good week. Bye.
Crawl space, I don't care, crawl.